No man can beat me. She growled. He just smiled. Try me. Rain pelted down in silver sheets, turning the arena's packed dirt into thick mud. The crowd roared from the high wooden stands, eager to see blood and pride put to the test. In the center of the ring stood Kaylin, the undefeated champion of the southern provinces. Her leather armor clung to her frame, streaked with grime from her last 3 victories of the day. Every challenger had fallen, some quickly, some after a brutal exchange, but all had ended up on their knees. She spat in the mud, swinging her spear in a lazy arc. No man can beat me, she growled, her voice carrying over the din. A hush rippled through the crowd. From a northern gate, the last challenger of the day stepped into the light, tall, lean, with an unassuming smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. His armor wasn't polished, nor was it intimidating. His sword looked worn, like it had been with him through countless journeys, not fresh from a forge. He stopped a few paces away and gave a small nod. Try me? Kaylin narrowed her eyes. She had fought hundreds of men. Every single one had underestimated her, and she'd broken each one. But there was something strange about the way he stood. Relaxed, no tension in his grip, no nervous shifting from foot to foot. Name? She asked, circling. Dorian, he said simply, adjusting the strap of his battered shield. The horn blared. Kaylin lunged first, spear darting toward his chest. In a heartbeat, Dorian shifted his weight, letting the tip skim past his ribs. He stepped inside her reach, faster than she expected, and clipped the spear half with his sword, sending vibrations up her arms. She grinned, the first flicker of excitement sparking in her chest in months. He pressed forward, sword low, testing her guard. She spun away, letting the mud splash up her calves, then whipped the spear back in a sweeping cut meant to take him off balance. He bent at the knee, the blade whistling over his head. You're quick, she said, breath misting in the cold air. And you're better than they say, he replied without missing a beat. The crowd roared again as the exchange quickened, steel clashing, spear shaft thudding against shield. Dorian's style was strange, part disciplined soldier, part street brawler. He seemed to read her moves just before she made them, adjusting with minimal effort. Most fighters panicked when she changed rhythm mid-strike. Dorian didn't flinch. He adapted. Kaylin feinted high, then stabbed low, the spear tip aimed for his thigh. Dorian twisted just enough for it to skim leather, and in that instant, he closed the distance, his sword grazing her forearm. She hissed at the sting. A clean hit. First blood to you, she said, stepping back. Not enough, he replied, eyes locked on hers. They circled again, the sound of rain muffled by the pounding in her ears. She was no longer thinking about the crowd, the coin, or her reputation. This fight wasn't about proving herself to anyone. It was about the thrill, the rare joy of finding someone who could truly challenge her. She darted forward, this time abandoning technique for raw aggression. The spear became a blur, each strike a heartbeat faster than the last. Dorian's shield absorbed some blows, but she drove him back step by step, mud splashing high as they moved. Then, in a flash, he changed rhythm. He let one strike slide off his shield and used the opening to slam his shoulder into her, knocking her off balance. Her boot slipped in the mud, and before she could recover, his sword was at her throat. The world went still. Even the rain seemed quieter. The crowd erupted in disbelief. Kaylin's chest rose and fell. She glanced at the blade, then at his eyes. There was no gloating there, no smugness, only a calm certainty. He stepped back and lowered his sword. Good fight. She straightened, wiping mud from her jaw. You've got skill, I'll give you that. But don't think this means you've beaten me for good. Dorian gave a half smile. Wouldn't dream of it. I expect a rematch. She tilted her head, studying him. Careful. You might get addicted. Already am, he said, turning toward the gate. As he walked away, the crowd still buzzing with shock, Kaylin felt something she hadn't in years, anticipation. She had won countless battles, earned titles and fear. But now she had a reason to fight again. She planted her spear in the mud, watching the northern gate close behind him. Next time, she murmured under her breath, I'll be ready. Somewhere in the stands, wagers were already being made for their next encounter. The rain kept falling, but Kaylin's grin was sharper than any blade in the arena.